Ellison and Robertson. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a man named Harlan Ellison. He was a pretty cool dude, as he wrote science books, screenplays, movies and scripts. And one day he came across his work on a website called Usenet. "Oh no," he said, alarmed. "This is my work." And they didn't even ask if they could put it on their site. So he went running to his lawyer. His lawyer, a very nice man, told him, "Don't be concerned. We have laws for that." "Yay," he said, relieved. "This is great, but what can we do?" "We'll contact Robertson and AOL and tell them to stop infringing your copyright." So he sent off the appropriate legal forms to Robertson and AOL, and they waited. Remorseful, Robertson said that he would pay $3,650 for being naughty, but AOL, they said they didn't know anything about this. Perplexed, Ellison wanted to know why they couldn't know. "How is that possible? We sent off many, many emails to their address site." The lawyer said, "I do not know. I really don't know why they haven't responded. But do not be alarmed. We have laws for that." So his lawyer put on a very nice suit, grabbed his briefcase and went to court. He stood up proudly, pulled back his shoulders and announced to the judge that AOL had vicariously and contributorily infringed Harlan's copyrights. AOL, they had equally impressive lawyers and really nice suits too, and all of them stood up together and collectively announced, "No, our client didn't do that, and even if you think they did, we have our secret weapon up our sleeves. It is called safe harbors." Everyone watched as they took out their secret weapon and weaved its magic spell across the room, and mesmerized, the judges looked at the glitter and sparkle, and suddenly they felt like they were drifting across the ocean and being lulled into a state of serenity as their ship sailed away to safety. Confused, Harlan looked at his lawyer and quizzically asked, "What does this all mean? What does safe harbors have to do with law?" His lawyer looked momentarily dejected and explained that this was a defense used by ISPs and hosts when liable for copyright infringements, but they had to meet with certain conditions, and as they had implemented policies to stop repeat infringers, AOL were now immunised from being held liable for any copyright infringements, and they didn't have to pay any damages. "What?" said Harlan. "What, they can get found guilty of copyright infringements, but then they don't have to pay any damages. This just doesn't seem fair." The lawyer, consoling, said, "Don't despair. We have even more laws for that." "Yay," said Harlan. So they went off to an even higher court called the appellate court. Dressed in even nicer suits than before, Harlan and his lawyer went to the really, really big court, and his lawyer stood up and said, "With all due respect, Your Honour, the district court judge was wrong. She said that AOL could not be held liable for vicarious infringement, and although they may be liable for contributory infringement, safe harbors gave them the necessary protection to avoid liability." The big lawyers from AOL, who appeared to have multiplied since the district court hearing, stood up and began to sing, "Safe harbors, safe harbors," and then together they reached into their sleeves and pulled out their magic weapons again. As the courtroom flashed with magic and glitter, the judges began to be lulled into another trance, but Harlan's lawyer was super prepared this time, and he stood up, pulled out his cloak, draped it over the judges and protected them from the magic. The cloak was filled with knowledge, and the material contributed to the judges not believing the magic this time. AOL's lawyers were confused. Why wasn't the spell working? The judges told them, You may not be able to be found liable for copyright infringement, and as you didn't gain any money from the infringement, nor vicarious liability, but you could still be held liable for contributory copyright infringements. Oh no! The cloak of knowledge and material had contributed to holding off the lawyer's spell and found them liable. But what about the safe harbours? As with every magic cloak, hidden in its lining was even more power. This had the power of seeing if policies were reasonably implemented to stop repeat infringers, and this killed the safe harbour spell completely. But we did implement it, said the people from AOL. The judges looked at the crew from AOL and gave them a big group hug and soothingly told them you changed your email addresses, and when the fairies and goblins tried to tell you about the big pirate parties, they never ever received a response. Oh, not only did AOL miss all the lovely pirate parties by the goblins and fairies, they also lost at the appellant's court, all because they didn't change their emails. Cheer up, said Harlan's lawyer, because he was a very nice, kind man. You were eligible for the safe harbour limitation of liability because you didn't have Harlan's book for too long on your site. Plus, you do know we do have laws for that. So, as the lawyers prepared for trial, the judges told them that if AOL wins a trial with the magical safe harbour trick, they had to stop coming to court and become friends. Harlan looked at his lawyer surprised and said, "But isn't there a law for that?"